Las Cian Corla, and I'd like to thank Deputy Farrell for sharing his time with me. I welcome an opportunity to speak on this bill. I think reforming a system that's as old as the legal system is a great chance to change the status quo. So I believe these reforms are necessary so that we can continue to have a criminal justice system that the Irish people can believe in. You know, there's a perception in the country that the system only works for you if you've got money. And this perception comes from people, for instance, who are waiting on legal aid but have to wait up to 11 months for their first meeting with a solicitor. It's from people who don't understand the legal maze when they are sent from process to process, or for where cases go to court but yet take years to reach a verdict. So we need a justice system that people can believe in, and I think this bill will help to build that faith. But it's also important that these reforms make access to the criminal justice system simpler and cheaper for the vast majority of people. So I welcome the changes in the bill that will force the profession to provide upfront the full amount of the costs that will take to go through with their case. And this will mean that people won't have to fear an endless number of bills dropping in their letterbox both during and after their case. It should also bring down the costs as people shop around and go to different providers and different practices to find one that's offering them the best cost and the best value. And I'm also hopeful that it will have a positive impact on the state's legal bill as its own legal costs reduce in line with these new costs. We discussed this bill at a recent branch meeting, the Bruna Bonia branch of the Labour Party in the prayer rooms in Duleek a few weeks back. And one of the key issues for us discussed at that time was the proposed board structure of the Legal Services Authority. And I agree with the Minister that there needs to be an independent authority at the top of the legal profession. People need to trust that the profession is being regulated in a fair and balanced manner, but the authority also needs to be trusted by the legal profession themselves. And by the way, I met with representatives of the Bar Council on this particular issue, and I agree with them and with their concerns that they've raised. I'd have concerns like they have about the independence of the board if the Minister has direct control over the appointment of a majority of the board. I think this undermines the principle of an independent board. I don't think the Minister should have that level of control over who is appointed to be a member, and on other boards this doesn't happen. For instance, the board members of the council, of the Medical Council, are appointed by the Minister of Health, but they're not selected by him. So the board has independence from the Minister and also the trust of the profession that it's regulating. So I'd ask the Minister to look again at this provision and to continue his discussions with the Bar Council and the Law Society so that they can find a solution that works for everyone. Another issue that came up in relation to the bill was the lack of a regulatory impact assessment, an RIA. I understand that the bill was published in October. That's nearly 5 months ago, and it was published to meet a target in the Memorandum of Understanding. Well, it's now February and we still haven't had the assessment, and personally I don't think that this is good enough. I know the Bar Council themselves are preparing an RIA. I think it would be embarrassing if the Bar Council actually releases their RIA before we do. So I'd urge the Minister to release the assessment as soon as possible to ensure that it's there for everybody to read, so that people can see the benefits of this bill and that they can see why we are committed to the reform and the reform that will come as a result of this bill being implemented. I welcome the bill. I welcome the changes that it will bring to the legal profession. I'm very hopeful that it will lead to a reduction in costs for people out there and also for the government. And I also hope that it will make the justice system more accessible to a larger number of people. Gurmagad.